Welcome to Full Draw Futures, where bow hunting meets day trading. This is a podcast about discipline, patience, and execution. This is Full Draw Futures. Lock in, wait for it, execute. Welcome to Full Draw Futures. I'm your host, Ben Callis, and this is episode 1. Welcome in. Glad you're here. I want to keep this first episode real. No fluff, no hype, no rehearsed sales pitch, just an honest introduction to who I am, where I came from, why I started this podcast, and what you can expect going forward. If you're brand new here, this is the episode that sets the table for everything else. So let's get into it. So, who am I? I'm a guy from the Midwest, raised in Indiana. My wife and I both grew up here, moved out to Colorado for about 10 years, and eventually made our way back after we started having kids. And honestly, coming back to Indiana was one of the best decisions we ever made. But we'll get into that. Growing up, I was an outdoorsman first and foremost. Fishing was just part of life. I've had a rod in my hand for as long as I can remember. When my wife and I were out in Colorado, I got deep into fly fishing. And if you've ever stood in a cold mountain river at first light, reading the current, trying to figure out where the fish are holding what they want, you already understand more about patience and observation than most people ever will. But hunting came later. I've only been hunting for about 6 years. I know, some of you grew up in a deer blind at age 5, and I respect that deeply. But I came to it as an adult, and I think that actually gave me a perspective on it that I really value, because I chose it. Nobody handed it to me. I had to go learn it from scratch. I started out gun hunting only, and I loved it immediately. There was something about being out in the timber before first light, the cold air, the stillness. It just clicked for me in a way I didn't fully expect. And then I got a bow. And the rest, as they say, was history. There's something about bow hunting whitetails specifically that gets into your blood in a way that's really hard to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. The reduced range that you can take shots forces you to be better. The margin for error is smaller. You have to be more patient, more disciplined, more precise. You can't just throw a Hail Mary at 200 yards and hope for the best. Every single variable has to be right. The wind, the angle, the distance, your breathing, your form. And when it all comes together and you make a clean shot, there is no feeling like it in the world. That mentality, that obsession with precision and preparation and waiting for the right moment, that's what this whole podcast is built on. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you something about my financial background, because I think a lot of you are going to relate to this. Now, I'm not a finance guy. I never was. I looked at the stock market for most of my adult life the same way a lot of people do. Like it was this complicated, intimidating world that was built for other people. Suits and Bloomberg terminals, guys on Wall Street yelling into phones. Not for me. So instead of stocks, I went the route I understood. Real estate. Tangible assets. You can see them, touch them, buy them cheap, fix them up, rent them out. That made sense to me. And outside of a company 401k that I honestly never thought much about, I had literally zero investing experience in the traditional sense. Then last May of 2025, I sold a real estate property and opened a SoFi investment account with the proceeds. That was my first stock, literally, ever. I'm talking, I had never bought a single share of anything in my life up to that point. And then, and this is the moment that changed everything, my wife mentioned that I should look into day trading. Now let me just say, I have an amazing wife, and that might be one of the best suggestions she's ever made. So I started looking into it, and within about a month, I'd completely fallen down the rabbit hole. What is this thing called TradingView? Personal capital versus others' money, indicators, and so on. You get it. In June of 2025, I had started trading futures, specifically in the prop firm space, through a company called TopStep. For those of you who don't know, prop firms let you trade their capital once you prove yourself through an evaluation. You follow their rules, you hit their targets, and they fund you. It's one of the most accessible paths into serious trading that exists right now. And I want to be straight with you. The beginning was not pretty. I spent a few weeks paper trading just as sort of a proof of concept. Then after that was certainly not enough time to feel the delusional amount of confidence that I felt, I bought my first combine. I actually remember the date, June 11th, 2025. This was it. I'm in the big leagues now. I'm only a few short weeks away from raking in the money. I can hear some of you laughing now. Go ahead. I'm still laughing with you. You see, I remember that date because it was the day that I not only bought my first combine ever, but also the date that I blew my first combine ever. Go on. It's funny. I broke rules I didn't even know not to break. I revenge traded. I chased setups that weren't there. I did all the things that every new trader does because you have to go through that phase to understand why those mistakes were so costly. There's no shortcut around it. You have to feel the pain of a bad trade to really internalize the lesson. But I kept showing up. I kept studying. I kept refining my process. Eventually, I passed multiple combines. I became a funded trader with multiple firms, and the results started coming. I've taken multiple payouts from both Top Step and Top 1 futures. My best month to date, March of 2026, I took 3 separate payouts totaling over $3,200 in a single month. For a guy with zero finance background who started trading less than a year before that, I'll take it. And I want to be clear, I am still new. I am still learning every single day. But the trajectory is real, and the framework that's driving it is something I genuinely believe in. So here's the thing that I keep coming back to, the thing that is really the whole reason this podcast exists. The more I traded, the more I felt like I'd done this before. Not the charts, not the terminology, not the mechanics, but the feeling of it. The mental experience of sitting and waiting and watching, and then when the moment is right, committing completely. I'd felt that before. Every single time I've been in a tree stand at full draw. And once I made that connection, I couldn't stop seeing it everywhere. Think about scouting. Before bow season, I'm pulling trail cameras, we're analyzing terrain, identifying travel corridors. You're figuring out where deer are bedding and feeding, and how the wind is going to affect all of it. I'm doing that work in January and February, so that when October arrives, I already know the answer. I'm not guessing in the moment. I've already put in the work. My pre-market routine is identical. Every morning before the open, I'm looking at overnight price action, identifying key levels, checking the economic calendar, building my game plan. I'm doing the digital scouting so that when the market opens, I already know where I'm looking and what I need to see. I'm not reacting, I'm executing a plan. Or think about entry discipline. Every bow hunter knows what it feels like to talk yourself into a bad shot. The deer's quartering towards you a little, the lane isn't quite clear. You've been sitting for 4 hours and the season is running out, and you're looking at maybe a winner of eating tag soup. And you shoot anyway. And you know, before the arrow even leaves the bow, that you made a mistake. Trading has the exact same trap. You see a setup that's almost there. Price is almost at your level. The confirmation is kind of what you wanted, and you take it anyway because you've been watching the screen for 2 hours and you need to do something. That's a maybe entry. And maybe entries, just like maybe shots, usually end the same way. The hunters and the traders who last, they're not the ones who take the most shots. They're the ones who take the right shots. And loss limits, oh man, knowing when to get out of the stand and go home, that's one of the hardest things in bow hunting and in trading. There's a moment where you've burned the spot. The conditions have turned against you. The most disciplined thing you can do is quietly pack up and live to hunt another day. In trading, that's your daily loss limit. Hit it, close a platform. Go outside, touch grass, reset. Because the trader who stays in after they've hit their limit, trying to make it back, that's the hunter crashing through the timber at midday, burning every stand they own. Discipline, patience, execution. Those 3 words are on my channel banner. They're not a tagline I came up with because it sounded cool. That is literally the operating system, in the woods and on the screen. So here's what you can expect from Full Draw Futures going forward. I'm going to do trade reviews, breaking down real setups, what I saw, what I did, and what I do differently. Not just the wins. Real trading means real losses too. I think you'll learn more from an honest breakdown of a bad trade than from somebody's highlight reel. I'm going to bring on guests, other hunters who trade, other traders who hunt, because I genuinely believe this crossover community is way bigger than most people realize. And those conversations, talking to someone who understands both worlds, are going to be some of the best content on this feed. I'm going to do shorter mindset episodes as well, drawing direct parallels between what we do in the woods and what we do at the screen. The scouting, the patience, the shot discipline, the knowing when to walk away. That mental game content is some of the most valuable stuff in trading, and almost nobody is making it for people like us. I'm going to keep it honest throughout. I'm not a guru. I'm not selling a course or a Discord or a magic indicator. I'm just a guy from Indiana who hunts whitetails, loves fly fishing, used to be a farrier and work on horses in Colorado, and figured out the mental framework that makes you a good hunter, makes you a better trader. I'm still figuring things out, and I want to build something real in a space that's absolutely full of noise. If you're a hunter who's curious about the markets, welcome. You already have more of the skill set than you think. If you're a trader who lives for bow season, you found your people. And if you're new to both, even better. We're going to learn together. Subscribe wherever you're listening, leave a review if you're enjoying it, and come back for the next episode. This is Full Draw Futures.